Our St. Louis Dragons are back in the playoffs. Today, we've got a snowy divisional round game on tap. The winner advances to the NFC Championship, and the loser, well, their season's over. In the last episode, we had an opportunity to clinch the number one seed with a Week 18 win, and we got the one seed. We didn't win in Week 18, but we also didn't lose. We tied against the New Orleans Saints, and a tie basically does the exact same as a win, as it clinches us the number one seed for good. And with that, we finished the regular season with a record of 12-4-1. And I feel like despite Puma Whitlock's injury, the team as a whole, I think, is peaking at the right time, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Our defense, other than a couple rough outings against Dallas and Kansas City, has been mostly really solid since the bye week. And on offense, Chance Matsumolo making his second NFL start looked pretty good out there. 29-45, 312 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was making solid throws down the field, and he didn't turn the ball over. So before we get into our playoff game today, we are going to go through our winners and losers of the studs and duds of the year as voted on by you guys in the last episode based on how players may have exceeded expectations or fell below them. Keep in mind, it's not necessarily nominating the 3 best or the 3 worst players, but more so guys who really went above and beyond expectation, and then on the flip side, guys who we did expect a lot out of and didn't necessarily get that. We'll start with the stud of the year. This ended up being a blowout. No surprise. Arturo Modelo is our winner, and this felt like the obvious choice. I mean, the year he had was just absolutely spectacular. Modelo was drafted in the 3rd round a couple years ago. Didn't play a ton early last year. Then got an opportunity to get some reps late in the year where he was really impressive. And then this year he was on a complete another level. Nearly 120 catches, just under 1,600 yards, and 15 scores. 2nd in the NFL in receptions, 3rd in the NFL in yards, 5th in touchdowns, and the consistency is what's most impressive. Only had 1 game less than 50 yards. Had to have had 7 or 8 with at least 100. 12 games with 1 score. His reward for getting first place will be a +3 ratings boost, and he will move up in development trait, going from normal to star. I will point out, if the game automatically moves his development trait up, which I imagine the game will after the year he had, he won't get it. He's only allowed to go up in dev once, and if that does happen, then our 2nd place finisher will get to move up in development trait, and that's Devontae Wyatt, who narrowly beat out Owen Popo for the 2nd place spot. Wyatt was our 2nd best defensive lineman this year after Simeon Bonnet. Really solid on the run game, made some plays as a pass rusher, and to think, this guy was picked up out of free agency a couple years ago and has now become a big-time piece for us and one of our more important players on the defensive side of the ball. Owen Popo, meanwhile, gets 3rd place. Still a really good season from him, especially this back half of the year where Devin White was injured, and when he came back, he wasn't really the same. Owen Popo really took over the load, and was really, really impressive, so his rating will go up by 1. It is worth noting that both Wyatt and Popo are unrestricted free agents this upcoming offseason, so them going up in rating likely means that their price tag's going to go up, and they've earned it after the years that they've had. Will they get a nice extension from us, or will it be elsewhere? That's the question. As for our dud of the years, our loser ended up being Grady Jarrett. This vote ended up being a lot closer between Jarrett and a couple of our offensive linemen, but Jarrett was just kind of a disappointment for us this year. We signed him in free agency, hoping he'd really make an impact, and that just was not the case. 34 tackles for loss and 14.5 sacks over the last 2 years with Atlanta and Chicago, but this year he was a complete non-factor. He only played 300 snaps, but had he played better, he would have gotten more reps. So his rating will go down by 3. His development trait will go down. Lucky for him, he's the only guy who we considered for dud of the year who has higher than normal dev traits, so he would have gone down in dev anyway. And I don't think it's really going to matter for him considering he's 33 years old. I think the loss of rating probably is the bigger deal for him, and it's going to make it harder for him to get signed this upcoming offseason, assuming he doesn't retire, because again, he is also on the final year of his deal. As for 2nd place, it ended up being Zach Tom, who we signed this offseason from the Packers. And Zach Tom's an interesting case because the reason why I was really excited about adding him was his positional flexibility. He can play a lot of positions on the offensive line, but apparently he can't play any of them well. He was just really unimpressive this year and did not play during the second half of the season. We gave him a pretty big contract, 3 years, just shy of $30 million. So it's not like we paid him nothing, but despite that, he was a backup for the second half of the year because he was not good when healthy early in the season, whether it was at tackle or guard. His rating will go down by 2, and so far he is looking like a not-so-great free agent signing, but we're kind of stuck with him for the next 2 years, so we're going to have to make it work. As for the last spot, that ends up being Royal Osuchua, one of our other offensive guards, and I felt kind of bad about putting Osuchua on the list because he was very dependable in terms of playing every snap. He didn't get hurt. He was solid in the run game, and he was really good last year. I thought he should have won the Stud of the Year outright last season, could have gotten to move up in dev trade, but this year he took a real step back as a pass protector, probably our worst pass blocker despite playing along the interior, allowing 9 sacks after only letting up 3 last year. So maybe last season was kind of a fluke for Osuchua. He was a 6th round draft pick after all, and we certainly did not expect him to have the season that he had a year ago, but I was really hoping that he would capitalize on it, and unfortunately that was not the case, at least this season. But there's a good chance that he'll, if nothing else, get to compete for a starting spot next year, and hopefully he's able to regain some stock. So now the question is, who will we play against here in the second round? You may have already seen based on the thumbnail, but we're going to play the lowest seeded team who wins, and there's a good shot that team ends up being a division rival. If Seattle wins, it'll be them. Then priority would go to the Rams, whom we swept this year, and if they both lose, it'll be the winner of this game between the Eagles and the Falcons. All right, let's see who we're going to play against here in the divisional round. It's going to be a rematch of last year's NFC divisional game as Desmond Ridder and the Atlanta Falcons come to town after last year's instant classic. Kicking the field goal, make it a 3-score game, but they want the first down to end it, and they do. This game is over. Or is it? It's a fumble, and it's picked up by the Dragons. The rookie, Jazir Salam, coughs it up, and St. Louis has the ball back. We can hold on to hope for a little bit longer. It's going to be brought down to the 25. Puma's in the zone, goes up the middle for Likely. He's in the end zone. A quick 3. They do throw the ball, and stacking the box pays off because White was on a blitz. 3rd and 8. It's intercepted! Jordan Whitehead picks it off. 3 to go. 5 wide. Puma, end zone, touchdown! Michael Gallup! But they've got to still punch this in. Puma looks to throw it. He connects with Juskins. We're tied at 33. And he hands it off to the fullback pretty much every play of overtime. 51-yarder for Koo. Splits 4th and 3. Season on the line. Puma looking for Likely. It's incomplete. And this game is over. After losing in heartbreaking fashion in last year's divisional round game, we get round 2. The Falcons head to St. Louis to face off against the Dragons, the first meeting between these two teams since the incredible divisional round game a season ago. Atlanta got the win in the wild card round on the road against the Eagles 24-17 with a strong game from Desmond Ridder. I think Atlanta's defense, though, was the real star of the show, allowing less than 170 yards of offense. Jalen Hurts was really unimpressive. The Eagles could not run the ball whatsoever, and the Eagles have one of the most high-powered, impressive offenses in the league. At least whenever we've played against the Eagles in this series, their offense has torched us. This Atlanta roster is pretty similar to what they had last year, and that includes Desmond Ridder at quarterback, who has developed a lot better than his real-life counterpart and was rewarded with a pretty team-friendly extension. Atlanta's got him locked up for not that much money, which is impressive considering he's played quite well for them over the years. This season might have been his worst year of the series, and that's because the turnovers went up. 16 interceptions after only throwing 9 last year. They've got a great group of skill position players, including Bijan Robinson out of the backfield, 99 overall. Steel Covey and Jazir Salam are good compliments as well. Salam, of course, had the big fumble last year. Drake London, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Sebastian Pazzuelo lead the receiving core. That might be the tallest wide receiver room I've ever seen. And they've also got Tyshawn Keon, the brother of our very own Tykeem Keon Jr. At tight end, they've got rookie Keanu Hokulani, who they drafted in the first round to replace Kyle Pitts with. And he had a great rookie season for the Falcons, really gaining that chemistry with Ritter that Kyle Pitts was never able to do. Defensively, the Falcons are really solid. They've got some great players in the secondary with Jesse Bates and A.J. Terrell. They've got an underrated pass rush. These guys outplay their rating. And they also have former Dragon Jordan Whitehead, who had the big interception against Atlanta last year in the divisional round. If you can't beat them, join them. So let's not waste any more time and get this show on the road. The NFC divisional round between the St. Louis Dragons and the Atlanta Falcons. It's been an up-and-down season for our 12-4-1 Dragons, who finished with the best record in the NFC. But obviously, we've got that little cloud over us, not just the snow clouds here today, but the big question of how Chance Matamolo is going to perform as the starting quarterback. Puma Whitlock is going to be out for a couple more weeks, and so the Dragons are going to need their young quarterback to lead them to victory and keep the season alive. Matamolo's coming off a strong game last week against the Saints, but the playoffs are a different beast, especially being in the snow. The Dragons' first ever home playoff game is underway as Tornado Davis II will return the kick from Younghoe Koo. He's got some blocks up the middle, and it gets a pretty solid return, bringing it to the 26-yard line. Steele Covey is hurt for Atlanta, their backup running back. That's not ideal. The reason why Jazir Salam was in the game to fumble it last year was because he was their only healthy running back. Now they only have two healthy running backs, Salam and obviously Bijan Robinson. So the Dragons will start with the ball. On first down, it's a handoff for DeAndre Swift up the middle with plenty of room. And he gets 14 yards. The Dragons are going to run the ball a lot today. Matamolo's coming off a good game against New Orleans, but they have one of the worst defenses in the league. And with the weather here today, the Dragons are going to lean on Swift and Juskins more than ever. 3rd and 2, pitch to the right side. Swift with blocks, gets a first down, bringing it to the 45 as DJ Orleans is banged up for Atlanta. He's a really solid player, forming a good pass rush trio alongside John Franklin Myers and Harold Landry. Following play, Matamolo looks to throw it up the middle. He's got Arturo Modello, who gets it to the 29. Our stud of the year, first-time Pro Bowler, first-time All-Pro, and Offensive Player of the Year candidate gets the grab. 3rd and 8. Matamolo looks downfield, sends a rocket for the end zone, and it's broken up. And now Harold Landry's dinged up. Two of Atlanta's top 3 pass rushers have already suffered some injuries. 45-yard field goal for Cameron Dicker is up, and it's no good! Wide left as Atlanta has another pass rusher hurt. Luciano Bustamante. They are getting killed by the injuries. So Cameron Dicker misses just his 4th kick of the year, and Atlanta does nothing to take advantage as Ritter misfires on 3rd down. Good coverage by Cam Lucifer as he was looking for the rookie Sebastian Pazzuelo. Dragons get it back, 3rd and 7, still no score. Matamolo looks to throw it up the middle for Likely, and it is broken up by T.J. Edwards, one of the more underrated defensive players in the NFL, as the Falcons have it back. 3rd and 4, Ritter on the run, it's caught! Atlanta with their first down of the game, as it's Tyshawn Keon who makes the play. Of course, we talked about the sibling rivalry a little bit earlier today. 3rd and 2, up the middle. Bijan Robinson sends Devin White down with him. And it looks like Atlanta's now starting to get some momentum here on this drive. Robinson to the left side, breaking tackles, brings it to the 30. Just like the Dragons, Atlanta knows with the weather, they've got to lean on the run game. And so far, Bijan Robinson's been really effective. 2nd and 10, back to Bijan on the left side. Gets by a defender, fumbles it, and it's picked up by Simeon Bonnet. What a play by the Dragons defense to force the turnover, and they'll get possession. A massive momentum boost. That's Devin White with the force. But was he down, though? From that angle, I think he was down before the ball came out. So if this stands, it's going to be a gigantic change of events for the Dragons, but unfortunately, I don't think it will. Devin White literally throws him on his side. I don't know if that's a legal hit, but as you can see right there, ball is still in his hands, and the hit with the ground is why the ball comes out. So the play will be reversed. A massive break for Atlanta as they get to keep the ball. 3rd and 5 from the 25. Ritter looks to throw it. Under pressure. He's sacked. B.J. Ojulari brings him down. Ojulari missed most of the second half of the year, but it's good to have him back healthy as he's in with the sack. And now Atlanta brings out the field goal unit. 50-yard try for Younghoe Koo is up and good. And the Falcons are on the board first as they lead it 3-0. The Dragons get the ball back now, the 3rd and 3. Final play of the quarter. Matamolo looks up the middle. He's got Griffin Weaver. Good to have him back healthy as he gets the first down. Weaver has also missed a large chunk of the second half of the year, and he got hurt before Puma Whitlock did. So it's good to see him and Matamolo showing some chemistry because the two of them have not shared the field together. Into the second quarter, Atlanta leads 3-0. Toss for Swift to the right side, looking to get some room, and he somehow gets yardage. But unfortunately, Arturo Modelo is hurt on the play, grabbing at his chest. Modelo got injured in the wild card round last year against San Francisco, so we didn't have him for most of our playoff run. That would be a real shame if that's going to be the case again. Matamolo fumbles it on 3rd down, and it's picked up by Atlanta. A strip sack, and it'll be taken to the house for a scoop and score. It's Hugh Langford with the fumble recovery touchdown, and Atlanta leads it 10-0. What a disaster within the last 2 plays for the Dragons. Their best offensive skill position player gets hurt, and then Matamolo fumbles the ball, and Atlanta takes it to the house. That's a clear fumble for what it's worth. John Franklin Myers with the strip sack. Let's make matters even worse now. Arturo Modelo, broken collarbone. Not only is he out for the game, but he's not going to come back at all this year. His incredible season is done. So the Dragons allow a defensive touchdown. Their best offensive playmaker's done for the year. Chance Matamolo gets sacked again, this time by DJ Orleans. Things are falling apart quickly here in St. Louis. Is the Cinderella fairy dust with the backup quarterback going away quickly? 3rd and 14. Matamolo floats it up, and it's caught for a first down by Tykeem Keon Jr. Nice grab. Despite the Dragons' struggles, Matamolo's been really solid other than the fumble. 6 of 9. Nice for 72 yards. 3rd and 4. On the run. Incomplete. It looked like Juskins was open in the flat. Instead, he was looking for Jamison Williams, but it's broken up by John Franklin Myers. The Dragons are going to punt it despite being at the 50, and that proves to be a really good decision. What a punt by Presley Harvin. The Dragons have 2 safeties in their team's franchise history, and both of them came in the first round of the playoffs last year against San Francisco. No need for a safety if Atlanta's just going to get a 3 and out, as Ritter is incomplete. Good coverage by Okuda. Desmond Ritter continues to really struggle as the Dragons get it back. Short throw on 2nd down for Juskins. Looks to juke by a defender and brings it to the 40. Even though Atlanta has the convincing lead, Matamolo continues to outplay Desmond Ritter. Following play, Matamolo in the pocket with a dart for the sideline. It's Keon who comes down with it. What a throw by Matamolo. Under pressure, unfazed, launches a beauty. 2nd and 2. Here's Swift. Gets a hold of the left side. Bounces off a blocker. Gets the first down. Powering for extra yards as he gets to the 7. Now Lorenzo Carter is hurt. Atlanta has like their entire pass rush injured today. 1st and goal. Juskins with the ball, and he is going to dive in for a score. Darwin Juskins puts the Dragons back in the game as it's now 10-7. St. Louis needed that one badly. Things were really trending downhill, but they're able to drive down the field, and they're only down by 3 with a nice run here by Darwin Juskins. So now it's 10-7. Atlanta gets it back with around 4 minutes in the first half. They've got to go back to running the ball. That's what's worked. And now Bijan Robinson is hurt. Oh, Lord. Just like last year, Atlanta's down to 1 healthy running back, Jazir Salam. Bijan won't go to the locker room. He'll probably return pretty shortly, but for now, it's only Salam in the backfield. Ritter under pressure on third down, and he is sacked by the Defensive Player of the Year, Simeon Bonnet, who led the NFL with 35 tackles for loss, 21 sacks, gets one here in the playoffs, and that'll force a stop. Big play for Bonnet, and now the Dragons can theoretically get the lead here. Jameson Williams with a nice play after the catch, showing off his speed. Matamolo continues to be the point guard of the offense, going short to these receivers who are great after the catch and letting them make plays with the ball. 3rd and 10. Can't find anybody open. He'll go short for Swift, who is leveled by TJ Edwards. The Dragons have it at the 43. You could argue going for it here. You could argue kicking a 60-yard field goal. But the Dragons want to win the field position battle again. The defense has been outstanding, so they're going to punt it. Presley Harvin downed it at the 2 earlier. He's going to one-up himself. Down at the 1! What a punt by Presley Harvin. He is having himself quite the first half. So Atlanta's got dreadful field position to start the possession. Safety very much in play as Bijan's back in the game. Breaks a tackle, gets 8. Now John Johnson's hurt. I don't know if the snow is affecting the injuries. My God. Both teams are getting hammered by the injury bug. Atlanta's gotten more injuries than us, but Arturo Modelo getting injured for our team evens it all out. 3rd and 2. Atlanta with the first down. And now Lance DiNardo, one of their starting guards, is banged up. I mean, you cannot make this up. All the injuries that they have gotten here. 2nd and 10 from the 15. Ritter looks to throw it. He goes short. That's Pozzuelo. He gets the first down. And now Matthew Bergeron, another offensive lineman, is hurt for Atlanta. That's like 7 guys who have gotten injured for them in the first half. I mean, this is a disaster for the Falcons with all these injuries. It must be the weather. Does this turf really go that poorly with snow? That has to be the reasoning. It can't all be a coincidence. So now it's a 3rd and 6 from the 30. Ritter under pressure. Looking on the run with a dime. It's Tyshawn Keon for a gain of 30. By far the most impressive play by Atlanta's offense all game. Ritter's really struggled, but he makes a big throw on the run. Problem is Atlanta doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage in time. And that's going to end the first half. 10-7. Falcons lead it. I think the Dragons' offense has been a lot better, though, than Atlanta's. And if our defense continues to play this well, I think the offense hopefully will be able to climb out of the deficit here in the second half. Our game is the last game of the week. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the bottom score ticker, but the Lions and Panthers game is already concluded. The Panthers blew out Detroit, so the winner of this game will play against Carolina in the NFC Championship, led by Bryce Young, who's had an unbelievable season for the Panthers. So as we go into the second half, I can't help but feel like we've outplayed Atlanta a little bit. Other than the strip sack, scoop, and score, our quarterback play has been, for the most part, significantly better than theirs. Desmond Ritter's played in a lot of playoff games in his NFL career. Chance Matamolo has not. However, Matamolo has been significantly more accurate and more precise. However, we still need to focus on running the ball. We've ran it at pretty high volume, and we've ran it pretty efficiently, so let's keep it going. On defense, again, we've got to stop Bijan Robinson. He's been the focal point of their offense, and if we're able to limit him and make Ritter beat us, I think that's our best chance of winning this game. 3rd and 6. Ritter, under pressure, throws it away. I think that was DeJuan Overton in the backfield, the 3rd-year defensive tackle out of Auburn. So the defense immediately gets a 3 and out. The Falcons only take like a minute of clock up, and the Dragons get it back. Looking to potentially take the lead as it's an RPO. Floats it up for Jameson Williams. Hurdles a defender to the 31. Again, Matamolo trusting his receivers to make plays. Even without Modelo in the game, the Dragons have plenty of other playmakers, J-Mo in specific. On first down, it's a short throw for Swift. He's got room. He's got the first to the 19. Matamolo has been ultra efficient, 14 of 19. He's not trying to do too much. He's just been the field general, and he continues to do it at a high level. Swift with blocks, pushed out at the 1. Now Keon is banged up for the Dragons because, again, these teams can have nothing good. Shouldn't be a major injury, though. I will say, in terms of our injuries, nobody's gotten seriously hurt with the exception of Modelo. 1st and goal. Matamolo has Jamison Williams open, but he slips. The snow continuing to make an impact on this game as JMO loses his footing for what would have been an easy touchdown. 2nd and goal. Pitch for Swift. He does not get it. He loses around half a yard there. That's Roper who brings him down, and it's a 3rd and goal from the 1. Matamolo in shotgun. It's a read option. He's in for the score. A rushing touchdown for Chance Matamolo. And the Dragons lead 13-10 as the point after try will doink off the crossbar. No good. Dicker only missed 3 kicks all year, but he's missed 2 today, and that's taken 4 points off the board. Atlanta back with it. Play action. Ritter floats it up for Drake London, who puts Okuda on a poster. I think there could be some PI there either way. That's not the call, though. Instead, it's a late hit on the quarterback against Owen Popo. If it was a defensive pass interference on Okuda, that would have been a spot foul. Atlanta declines the penalty, but since it's a roughing the passer, it's an additional 15 after the play. Here's Robinson now. He brings it in the red zone for a gain of 18. Bijan looks fully healthy after getting a little bit banged up earlier. That injury clearly not an issue. 2nd and 14 after a false start. Here's Bijan Robinson again. Breaks a tackle. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Atlanta. And now Ojulari is hurt. Jesus Christ. It's a dislocated finger. Normally with injuries like this, we wouldn't play our guys through it. But it's a playoff game. We need all hands on deck. If you can play, you're going to be in there. So the Dragons get the ball back. Game should be tied. But Cameron Dicker has left 4 points off the board, and thus the Dragons trail. Here's a really nice play by Tykeem Keon Jr. gaining 27 yards. Keon's been really solid today, having one of his best games of the year. Again, Matamolo sees all the open space for Keon and lets him make a play with the ball. 3rd and 5. Matamolo floats it up. It's caught by Darwin Juskins. He gets the first and is out of bounds at the 41. The offenses look really steady here in the second half. The first drive of the half looked pretty good. This drive looks very strong as well. 3rd and inches. Juskins with a first down. Breaks off a big run to the 9. 23 yards for Darwin Juskins. And the Dragons are back in the red zone. This is where they've struggled throughout the entire year, though. 5 wide on 2nd and goal. Pass is caught. That's the rookie Aaron Mayer who takes a shot. Holds on to it, though, gaining 5 just outside of the end zone. And now it's a 3rd and goal at the 1. Handoff for Swift. He is stopped. It's John Franklin Myers who brings him down, and the Dragons have a really tough decision to make. And I'll be honest, if not for both of the missed kicks, we would have gone for the field goal here, looking to take the lead. But because of the 2 missed kicks, we're going to go for it. 4th and goal at the 3. A gutsy decision by Coach Piggins, trusting Chance Matamolo to make a big throw here. And it's caught for a touchdown! Tykeem Keon Jr. appears to have kept the feet inbounds, and the Dragons take the lead. The missed kicks prove not to be a burden after all. I think Keon was in bounds. I wouldn't be surprised if this play gets reviewed. And the Dragons are on top, 20-17. Big time throw by Matamolo. Atlanta back with it. Ritter has a wide open man. It's incomplete. He was looking for Pozuelo. That could have been a big play, but the throw is well offline. And now through 3, the Dragons lead this one 20-17. Can St. Louis hang on for one more quarter and go to the NFC Championship? 3rd and 5. Ritter, clean pocket. Now rolls out to the right. Under pressure, he's sacked. Devontae Wyatt brings him down. Another stud of the year candidate with one of the biggest defensive plays of the year. A giant play by Wyatt, and the Dragons get it back with 2 touchdowns early here in the second half. 3rd and 7, likely with a nice grab. He gains 5. Big tackle there by the Honey Badger. 4th and 2 at the 47. The Dragons are going to punt the ball. The defense has been outstanding all day. Presley Harvin has had 2 punts go inside the 2. Will he get lucky again? Not quite. That was close, but it rolls in the end zone, and Atlanta, lucky for them, gets a touchback. So the door is still wide open for the Falcons offense, who only has 1 touchdown drive today. Let's see if they can get the lead back. 3rd and 9. Ritter on the run. Throws it away. The pass rush has been really solid. The coverage for the Dragons has been unbelievable. There have been a lot of instances here where Ritter can't find anybody open. He has to roll out, and he can't really do anything because nobody's open. Dragons back with it. Juskins, big run to the 39. If the Dragons can manage the clock smartly here with about 7 minutes to go, I think they can really put themselves in a good spot the rest of the way. 3rd and 3. Handoff for Swift. Has room to the left. First down. Woo! Spins by Terrell and gets it to the 35. A huge run for DeAndre Swift. And the Dragons are getting pretty close to field goal range. Touchdown makes it a 2-score game. From the 35, Matamolo looks to run with it. Fumbles it! And it's picked up by Atlanta! A costly fumble by Matamolo as Mike Hughes picks it up. Chance Matamolo's been so steady all day. The one time he tries to do a little bit too much, he fumbles the ball. Matamolo thought that he could get a little space. He was trying to throw the ball for Isaiah Likely there, but before he could throw it, there's a swarm of 3 Falcon defenders who hit him. Ball comes out, and they get it back, and that ball was clearly out. Do you see that thing go flying? The one big issue with Chance Matamolo's game is that he seems to fumble the ball way too much. He needs to learn how to protect the pigskin. 1st and 10, pass is incomplete. Good coverage by Lucifer. The pass coverage continues to be unreal. Under 5 minutes to go here. This might be Atlanta's last chance with the ball. Bijan Robinson gets around only 3. Nice tackle there by Devin White. And that'll bring us to what has to be the biggest play of the game so far. 3rd and 7 with 4.5 to go. Atlanta's really struggled today on 3rd down. Ritter looks to throw it. Under pressure. Rolls out to the left. Nobody's open again, and he eventually throws it away. The secondary continues to be the unsung hero for this defense. Wyatt's a little bit banged up. He should be fine, though, as he was there with the pressure. And Atlanta's going to have to punt this ball. Is it too early to go for it? I would highly consider it here if I was the Falcons. But ultimately, they're going to trust their defense, who has been really solid today, as Davis is brought down at the 26. With 4 minutes to go, the Dragons get the ball back. Presumably, the Dragons are going to run the ball a lot. Not just Swift and Juskins, but I would look for Derrick Henry to get involved as well. Can the Dragons finish things off and get to the NFC Championship? Swift on 1st down only gets a yard. Good start for the Falcons' run defense. 2nd and 9, play action. Short throw for Keon, and he is tackled inbounds by the Honey Badger. Keon leads the Dragons in receiving today. 5 for 75 and a score. His best game of the year by far. 3rd and 3 with around 3 minutes to go. Atlanta's got to get a stop. It's Derrick Henry, the big fella! He gets the 1st down, gaining 4 or 5. And now the Dragons are firmly in chew clock mode. This will be probably the final play before the 2-minute warning. It's Juskin's turn. He gets 3. And now Atlanta's probably going to start calling their timeouts here after the 2-minute warning. It all comes down to this. Can the Dragons run the ball efficiently and finish this game out, unlike Atlanta in the 4th quarter last year? Swift on 2nd down with a strong run, gets 5. Now 3rd and 2 after Atlanta burns a timeout. It's going to be an RPO. Swift keeps it, and he gets it! 1st down, DeAndre Swift. Atlanta calls their 2nd timeout. Another 1st down ends it. Henry loses 2 as the Falcons burn their 3rd and final timeout. 2nd and 12. Swift doesn't get anything, and so now it's a 3rd and 10. Do you run the ball here, or do you throw the ball? Interesting dilemma here for the Dragons. They want to end the game now. They're going to look to throw it, but they'll go short for Swift, who catches it. Got to stay in bounds, and he doesn't. Swift lost his footing. The idea there was that Matamolo was going to throw a check down and hope that there's enough space for Swift to get the 1st down, and I think there could have been, but he's unable to keep his footing to potentially end the game. If he had stayed in bounds, Atlanta would have gotten like 20 seconds with the ball. Instead, they get a minute. The Falcons now get a real opportunity to do some damage, and all they need is 3 points to tie the game. Now, their offense has done nothing today, but if they can change that here, none of that will matter, as on 1st down, it's hauled in by Drake London for a gain of 12 or 13 as Younghoe Koo warms up on the sideline. The previous play is going to be reviewed, so we'll see if Atlanta is able to keep this 1st down, and I'm not so sure that he was able to keep possession there and get both feet in bounds, and ultimately this play would be reversed. A huge break for the Dragons as Atlanta's backed up all the way at the 14 off of another good punt by Harvin. Second down. Ritter goes short for Bijan. He's out of bounds for a gain of 8. Clock stops at 50 seconds. Ritter only 12 of 27 today as it's now a 3rd and 2 for Atlanta. They've got to look for the sidelines or look somewhat downfield. Ritter on the run. It's incomplete. Good coverage by Demore Diggins. That'll lead us to a 4th and 2. This is the ball game. It's a handoff for Bijan, and he doesn't get it. A number of defenders there, specifically the rookie, Nnamdi Sanaga. Bring him down, and this game is over. Atlanta on 4th down looks to catch the defense off guard by running the football, and that proves to not be the case. Sanaga and the others read the play like a book, and with a couple of Chance Matamolo kneel downs, this game will come to a close. No Puma Whitlock, no Arturo Modelo, no problem. The Dragons are 1 win away from advancing to Super Bowl 61. They beat the Falcons in an ugly defensive divisional round slugfest, 20-17, and we will face off against former number 1 draft pick Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers next week. When Puma Whitlock got injured, I was very skeptical, but I've got to say, Chance Matamolo's done an incredible job. I don't think we're going to get Nick Foles 2.0, largely because Puma Whitlock would theoretically be healthy for the Super Bowl, but still, Chance Matamolo has played his tail off 2 games in a row. In his first NFL playoff game, the moment was not too big for him. We outgained Atlanta by 200 yards. As close as this game was, our offense was considerably better than theirs. Matamolo had the 2 fumbles, which were really costly, but other than that, he was unbelievably efficient. He did not miss any throws in the second half. After halftime, he had 1 incompletion, and that was the play where Jamison Williams was wide open and tripped in the end zone. 81% completion percentage, and it's not like he was only throwing checkdowns. He had a few nice throws down the field, but really was able to get these receivers involved after the catch, which is what made his performance so impressive. He knew coming into the game, he just had to distribute the ball like a point guard to all these great receivers. And even without Arturo Modelo, an Offensive Player of the Year candidate, he was still able to get the job done. Desmond Ridder, on the other hand, was not so good. He didn't turn the ball over, but he looked kind of lost back there. I think the snow made an impact, along with the fact that the Dragons' defense, specifically the coverage, was unbelievable. Both teams ran the ball well. Shout out the offensive line. Shout out Swift and Juskins. In the passing game, both Keon brothers led their teams in receiving. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a first for both of them. So it's pretty cool that it happened on the same game against each other. Obviously, with us, that's largely because of the Modelo injury, but Keon deserves a ton of credit for stepping up. J-Mo played well, likely played well. Our offensive line was a lot better than theirs. They did send some solid pass rush, and they got a handful of sacks, as did we. But we had a ton of pressures throughout the game. Desmond Ridder looked like he had no clue what he was doing. The special teams was a mixed bag because Cameron Dicker was not good. Presley Harvin, on the other hand, was phenomenal. Harvin deserves our MVP. He was brilliant. So with Modelo, as we know, broken collarbone, he's out for the year. And just like last season, he gets injured in our team's first playoff game. We're going to put him on IR and presumably sign another player next week. I don't know if it has to be a receiver. We've got like 6 on the roster, but we're going to need all these pass catchers to step up. J-Mo, Weaver, Keon, likely, even the tight ends. We need all these guys to play their best ball. So now we simulate into Conference Championship Week. Again, we already know we're playing against Carolina. Looking at the AFC scores, the number 1 seeded Chiefs, who looked invincible all year, lose to the Jaguars. They'll go up against Baltimore in the Conference Championship, who just beat Cleveland. Players of the week, no Dragons here. Bryce Young, Lamar Jackson, Raheem Nectar for the Falcons, and Nick Bolton. So that brings us into Conference Championship Week at home. The top 2 seeds in the NFC, the 2 best teams in the conference throughout the year, the Dragons and the Panthers, with a spot in the Super Bowl on the line. Can we continue our underdog story with our backup quarterback and make it to the big game? Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.